When God created you, He had a purpose in mind, a vision of who you should become. But many of us were born into environments that know more about suffering, pain, and hardship than anything else. You might have grown up surrounded by poverty, stress, and rejection, and over time, these surroundings began to shape your thoughts, your beliefs, and even your fears. But here's the truth: you were not born with fear. God didn't create you to be afraid to step out in faith and pursue the purpose He has placed within you. Fear was something your environment taught you, not something God placed in you. This fear is keeping you from the greatness God designed for you. Many of us are afraid to try, afraid to start that business, to pursue that passion, to step out in faith, because our greatest fear is failure. But let me tell you something: the greatest failure in life isn't failing at something, it's failing to try. It's missing out on the life God has called you to live because you let fear hold you back. God didn't place you on this earth to be defeated by your circumstances. He created you for a purpose, and He has already equipped you with everything you need to succeed. In Luke 16:1-13, Jesus tells the story of a servant who was entrusted with his master's business. This servant wasn't doing a great job, and he knew it. He was about to lose his position because he hadn't managed things well. But instead of giving in to fear or despair, he took action. He didn't let the fear of failure paralyze him. Instead, he came up with a plan to secure his future. The servant realized that he wasn't strong enough to dig, and he was too proud to beg. But he knew how to use the resources and connections available to him. He understood his strengths and weaknesses, and he found a way to leverage what he had to ensure his success. This is the lesson for us: you don't need to be everything to everyone. God didn't create you to struggle in areas that aren't meant for you, but He did equip you with unique gifts, talents, and opportunities. Your path to prosperity lies in discovering those gifts and using them wisely. When God created you, He blessed you with talents and abilities meant to bring light wherever you go. Even if your environment taught you fear and doubt, you have the power to rise above that. Proverbs 10:22 says, "The blessing of the Lord brings wealth without painful toil for it." This means that God's favor can bring you success even when you rest, when you align yourself with the purpose He has for you. The key to your success is understanding why God created you. You were created to make a difference in this world. Before you existed, your purpose already existed. God doesn't do anything by accident. He planned a great future for you and gave you talents and abilities to ensure you can look after yourself and contribute to His kingdom. But you need to break free from the fears and doubts that your environment has instilled in you. You were created to be a blessing in everything you do. So get up, encourage yourself for success. You can do it, and you can make it. God has already blessed you. Your job is to discover that blessing. Just like the shrewd servant, you need to take stock of what God has given you and use it wisely. It's not about trying to do everything, it's about mastering the gifts that God has placed within you and letting Him prosper you. This is how God's blueprint for prosperity works. It's about knowing your purpose, using your gifts, and trusting God with the results. The servant in Jesus' parable wasn't commended for his dishonesty, he was commended for his wisdom in using what he had. How much more can we accomplish when we start with wisdom, integrity, and faith in God's plan for our lives? So remember this: failing doesn't make you a failure, it's a step on your journey to success. The greatest failure is to never try, to never step out in faith. God has created you for a purpose, and He wants you to succeed. He wants you to be a blessing in everything you do. So discover your gift, step out in faith, and let God prosper you. You were created for greatness, and your success is tied to the reason God created you. Now is the time to rise above the fears and doubts that have held you back and step into the abundant life God has planned for you. Thank you for listening, and if this message has encouraged and inspired you, be sure to share it with others. May God bless you richly both in your work and in your rest.